Welcome back around to theCUBE here at our NYSE studios. Of course, we have our Palo Alto studios connecting Silicon Valley and Wall Street. I'm John Furrier, host of theCUBE. We're here for the Google Cloud Partner Showcase, where we unpack the best practices, what leaders are doing to move the needle in the generative AI era for customers, of course, implementing those technologies like agents and everything else around data. Got two great guests here, Shelby Johnston, Director of North American Corporate Sales for Google, Simon Anderson, SVP of Cloud at CDW. Great to see you again. Thanks for coming on, appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Hey, thanks for having us.
I love the partner showcase because it's really Google's, top, partners who are innovating. Talk about the relationship, Simon, with Google and how that's working out.
So CDW has had a strong relationship for 5 or 6 years and very deep with delivering workspace to both education and now corporate. And now Gemini, of course, has come along, Gemini Enterprise, and just blown past the competition in terms of the capability and the use cases and the connectivity to the data stack. So it's very exciting times to be partnering with Google and go to market.
Can you say that again? Because I think this is a point that people some are seeing that are in the industry, but I think people are realizing the real impact of Gemini to the business.
Gemini, in a lot of our customer use cases, the ability to be able to use it at scale, but also connect different data sources is just incredible. And so working together, we're able to get incredible outcomes in terms of efficiency and growth for customers.
Shelby, talk about the relationship. We've been following Google, as you know. You guys made some good bets on how to engage with partners, with the stack, but also integrations and being very relationship oriented intentionally. Talk about the relationship with CDW and how that's going from your side.
Absolutely. So, from a Google perspective, our partner ecosystem is critical to our long-term growth from a scale perspective. So we absolutely need our partners to help us drive innovation across our tech stack. So from a CDW perspective, we've been working with them, like you said, for several years. However, 2025 was our best growth year with them from a customer acquisition standpoint, from a channel AI perspective. So we really do feel like we're just at the beginning of the growth that we could drive together, which is very exciting. I would say also, as Google Cloud, our built in our DNA has always been that we're an open cloud. We want to make it easy for customers to port their data in and out. And so openness is really key to how we partner. And it's actually quite a nice synergy with CDW, who works with many different partners and brings the best of breed of technology to their customers. So I think we're just at this stage where it's kind of coming together in a really nice way. And AI is certainly the tip of the spear of where we're going to go together.
Simon, talk about the impact of the Google's openness, their scale. Obviously, they have great security. We've covered that. People watch theCUBE, they know all this. You guys touch a lot of customers, a lot of diverse customers at all aspects of their consumption for either IT or product. So you're in all the accounts. How does the cloud play that you're overseeing bring in more value for the customer with Google?
The market is really sort of coming to where CDW sits. So CDW has hundreds of thousands of customers, a lot of like manufacturing, retail, real estate. So, you think of it as the middle of corporate America. And there, with now, generative AI adoption at over 80% in one or more business function generally, the demand for really the table stakes, which is like, how do you bring this whole new technology, for searchability, for document summarization, for transforming workflows into the enterprise and mid-market. And so the market is really sort of coming to where we are. And the difference I think that we're seeing from prior technology revolutions is that the value's there. I mean, we can immediately demonstrate ROI working closely with Google and the incredible technology that they bring to the table for customers, efficiency, new workflows, and so on. So it really is a moment.
Whenever I've seen new technologies come into partner networks, there's an adoption, and then how do I deploy it? Is there friction? Does it make money? And does it serve the customer? And the customer comes first, so you're close to the customer, you're providing the benefits with the cloud. How do you see that evolving, that equation? Talk about the customer value, and then the money making, because you can wrap services around cloud. It's got a lot of leverage. You got operating leverage with the cloud, you got domain expertise with what's going on with the customer motion. Talk about how you see the business model and the customer deployment satisfaction piece of it connecting.
So as I was sharing, like take manufacturing for example. Manufacturing has a lot of facilities, typically all over the country or all over the world. They've got data in all these different pockets. So the open data approach that Google Cloud has with Gemini, we're able to connect different data sources very quickly, whether that's Salesforce, Box, other proprietary data sources. And the benefit is that the ability to be able to query that data, use it for new workflows, start to add agentic capabilities is just something that corporations have never experienced before.
Yeah.
On this Google side, you guys are enabling this acceleration, faster product value, faster service value, and customers. How do you see this evolving?
Yeah, I think what I would say is right now what we're seeing is quite an evolution away from customers are not choosing a cloud provider for cost efficiency anymore. They're choosing a cloud provider as an innovation partner. And we're really seeing customers come to Google because they're choosing a partner for the future of their AI within their enterprise. And from a Google perspective, we really do see it as the value is in the full stack. Yeah. Google, as a product development company, has really woven AI into every aspect of our platform. And we believe that, as I mentioned, openness, we also believe there's such an importance in having first-party tools as well. And we're really the only hyperscaler that has the hardware, the chips, all the way to the models. So we think that that's really the true competitive advantage. As customers are making these decisions, they're thinking about innovation.
Simon, we were talking before we came on camera about CDW's education business for Workspace. Big customer, and a lot of customers around Workspace, which we know has been very popular. Everyone has Gmail, and we're a customer actually on SiliconANGLE too. We love it. But Gemini adds an extra punch to the value. And is there an education crossover to Gemini? How do you see the Gemini Workspace piece coming together? Is it resonating with customers?
Well, what's happening in education, so K through 12 in particular, is schools around the country have been very quick to adopt not only Workspace, but then Gemini. They're starting with more back office functions, so think efficiency, just like a corporation. How do we get teachers out of doing 50% of their work is all this back office busy work? How do we get that down to 20% so they can get back in the classroom? So it's starting there. It's also being used for curriculum development and so on. It's not yet at the point, particularly in K through 12, where it's being used sort of actively in the classroom, but I think that will come. But it's really starting with that sort of progression, and CDW, delivers close to 50% of all Workspace, through K through 12 in the US. So we've got a great experience, and I think it's really starting where ultimately, the next generation of users are going to come from.
Yeah, the partnership is interesting with Google and CDW because I think it hits a lot of the horizontal use cases. You mentioned the diversity, the range of customers. I guess the question for both of you guys would be, where's the unlock coming from in the growth and the money making? How would you see AI unlocking? Was there anything that jumps out at you, guys, on what's happening with the where's that value? If people said, hey, where's the value being unlocked? Where's the AI? Where's the secret path?
Yeah. I can go. So I think a lot of it is within the agentic workflow, which we really do see as the future. It is truly not just like a one-off project or chatbots or AI subscriptions. It is truly remaking your enterprise with agentic workflow at the forefront of that. So I think that's really where we see everything going. And that is where you'll see, I think we'll see the true kind of tipping point from that perspective.
And I'd add that, absolutely. But when you think of agentic workflows, it really is a transformation of the way people work at every level. And so I think step one is, get the AI in the hands of the users so they can really see the power of it. And, as we've talked about, Gemini, incredibly usable. I use it myself extensively. Whether that's for deep thinking or whether it's for quick response and so on. So just get it in the hands. That's part of the unlock. And then from there, as you start to build agentic workflows, I think one thing that is talked about but shouldn't be missed is there is really a transformation of how people work that's important. And so that training, that enablement, and that's where CDW comes in as well.
Well, I'm glad you brought up
We've got that
agents, because that's the
capability.
topic of the year is agents. You got to have the data. How do you see CDW and Google doing agents with Gemini? Any visibility on the key use cases with agents?
We're already implementing 3 or 4 different agents for a particular workflow that are effectively daisy chained together in core industries. Once again, it typically doesn't start with in customer focused. It's back office manufacturing systems and that sort of thing, but it's already happening. And of course, with agents, you've got to balance out, like, when do you need human intervention? What are the guardrails? Those sort of things.
I mean, agents are great.
Yeah, I mean, I think one other thing I would add too is the importance of modernizing the enterprise to be able to take true advantage of the opportunity with AI. So as you know, we haven't talked a lot about data, but honestly, it's going in and understanding how do you actually help a customer modernize their legacy infrastructure so that they can actually take advantage of the opportunity. I think that's a big piece of it too.
Yeah, agents definitely have a lot of headroom. I'd like to ask you guys to tell a story around some use cases and successes. You mentioned the education, K through 12. Are there other examples where the partnership, kind of the dual, better together works?
Real estate is another classic sort of core industry. Of course, across commercial real estate, you've got all sorts of businesses in every aspect of the sector, but they tend to have data in silos. They tend to have workflows that are less modernized, and so there's a lot of work that we're doing in that to modernize those workflows and just make them much more efficient.
Got it. And the verticals that are affected is everybody.
Everybody.
AI is not a disruptive enablement. It's accelerating. No one gets disrupted. They disrupt themselves, I guess, but the AI is accelerating everything. All right, final question. What's next in the partnership with CDW and Google? What are you guys working on? What's next? What's the next step?
From CDW's perspective, part of my role as SVP of Cloud is really to deepen the capabilities, like understand where we have gaps for delivering Gemini and Workspace and the whole stack. And so we're working actively on that. That's really a key part of what we're focusing on, because we're seeing the demand and now we need to convert it and we need to deliver it.
And what's your focus for the year in terms of what you're optimizing for cloud?
Adoption, going from proof of concept to production, making sure that there's a very high adoption rate between POC and production is probably the key thing.
Yeah, the customers are going there.
Yeah. That's a great one. Yeah, I think it's growth. Simply, we have a ton of opportunity ahead of us, a ton of headroom in the partnership. So I think it's growing. We're growing at a very, aggressive clip, but I think there's even more headroom in the partnership for us to scale, get AI in the hands of more of our customers. And just from a Google Cloud perspective, our priorities are always data, AI, security, and collaboration.
And you guys got 100 partners, hundreds of partners, 400 partners coming here in New York. Thanks for coming by and being featured in the showcase. Great to see you. Congratulations.
Thank you, John.
Google's continuing to thunder. A great year for you guys, continuing to have great success.
Yeah.
Gemini's nice bump on that. Great product. Everyone loves it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'm John Furrier with theCUBE here at the Google Cloud Partner Showcase, where they're sharing the best practice experience, but more growth and more innovations coming. We're doing our part here at theCUBE. Thanks for watching.